Does anyone here enjoy reading? Are you fond of reading books or novels? Do you know your purpose when you read, or do you even have strategies? If you don't have, then don't you worry because today we will be discussing reading purposes and strategies. So hi, I am Angelica Yvonne from BS Ed English 3-1. So, reading is more than just a pastime for bookworms. In fact, even those who claim to hate reading are actually doing it every day. A work email, a text message from your friends, from your relatives, from your teachers, a street sign, or even a status on Facebook. This all requires you to read. However, many people read because they want to learn information or facts, they want to be entertained, or they want to understand other cultures or groups. That's why they read. So, so, the purpose of reading is to connect the ideas on the page to what you already know. If you don't know anything about a subject, then pouring words into your mind is just like pouring water into your hands. You don't retain much. So for example, try reading these numbers. The first one we have 7516324. So as you can see, this is hard to read and remember. However, the second example 7516324. If you will try to memorize it, it will be 7516324. So did you see? It is a lot easier because of the chunking. So chunking is the process of information of grouping them into larger units. And the last example is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a lot easier than the first two examples. Why? Because of your prior knowledge and of course the structure of the numbers. Before actually beginning to read, it is important to know the purpose of reading. That is why the reading is being done. Knowing the purpose greatly enhances the effectiveness of the reading. Also, knowledge of the purpose can help one adopt a style of reading best suited for the purpose. So what are the purposes of reading? First, we have pleasure and enjoyment. Second, practical application. Third, to obtain an overview. Fourth, to locate specific information. Next is to identify the central idea or the theme. And lastly, to develop a detailed and critical understanding. So first we will discuss pleasure and enjoyment. So this is probably the best reason to read anything. So you have chosen the material for the purpose of enjoying yourself. Reading entertains you and even relaxes you. So even me, I do read a lot of books or novels because it really entertains me and relaxes me as well. So yeah, I can totally relate to this first purpose. The second purpose is practical application. So the purpose here is to gain information that you can apply or use in a practical situation. So books such as laboratory manuals, computer manuals, instruction booklets, and recipe books are all the texts that you would consult with the purpose of gaining information. So the third one is to get an overview. So here, the point here is to get a general feel for the material to determine whether is relevant, rather useful, up to date, and to get a sense of how the topic is treated by the author. This is likely to be the main purpose behind the reading when you are given an extensive reading list for an assignment. Second, you are doing initial library research for an essay, tutorial, research report, or similar assignments. And you need to decide which texts are most relevant or useful for your assignment. So the fourth one is to locate specific information. So sometimes you know what you are looking for, but you do not know where exactly to find it. For example, you might be looking for specific quotation, evidence to support a particular argument, details about a specific person or event, a map, a diagram, and a statistic or table of statistics. So to find this sort of information might mean that you have to consult several books or sources. In these circumstances, you will be reading with the aim of zeroing in the information you are looking for. So fifth is to identify the central idea of the theme. So the purpose here is to extract the essence of what the written material is trying to convey. For example, you might want to identify the major finding in an experimental article in a journal or the core issue of a discussion paper. Purpose is to develop a detailed and critical understanding. So on many occasions, you will need to master the material in a book, in a journal or article or manual so that you can evaluate its arguments, perspectives, or evidence. And this will require you to first read the material thoroughly, second, make effective and relevant notes, and lastly, keep an open mind by being aware of your own ideas and opinions regarding the issues involved. What do you mean by reading comprehension? So reading comprehension is the ability to read text, process it, and understand its meaning. So reading has something to do with comprehension. This encompasses the skills needed to understand the meaning of a text, which I said seconds ago. So reading is pointless unless you gain some understanding of the text, be it for entertainment, for learning, or communication, and you need to be able to comprehend what you read, because the more you read, the more your reading comprehension will improve. Comprehension requires motivation, mental frameworks for holding ideas, concentration, and a good study techniques. And here are some suggestions. So first we have develop a broad background. So broaden your background knowledge by reading newspapers, magazines, and books. And it will not hurt you if you will become interested in the world events. Second, know the structure of paragraphs. So good writers construct paragraphs that have a beginning, middle, and end. Often the first sentence will give an overview that helps provide a framework for adding details. And also, look for transitional words, phrases, paragraphs that change the topic. Third one is to create motivation and interest. So preview material, ask questions, discuss ideas with your classmates, with your peers, because the stronger your interest, the greater your comprehension. The fourth one is highlight, summarize, and review. So just reading a book once is not enough. To develop a deeper understanding, you have to highlight. And if you have a highlighter with you, you can use it. I guarantee you it will really help you to remember your notes and the important words that you need to understand. And also don't forget to summarize and review important ideas. Is to build a good vocabulary. So for most educated people, this is a lifetime project. And even for us, future English teachers, we need to build a good vocabulary. So the best way to improve your vocabulary is to use a dictionary regularly. You might carry around a pocket dictionary and use it to look up new words. But since we are in a modern technology with just a few types, with just a few clicks on our smartphones, on our gadgets, we can now look up new words by using the internet. Let's now proceed to reading strategies. So reading strategies is a broad term used to describe the planned and explicit actions that help readers translate print to meaning. Strategies that improve decoding and reading comprehension skills benefit every student but are essential for beginning readers, struggling readers, and English language learners. So, what are DDAs? So, reading involves connecting new text to that which is already understood. BDA strategies are used to get students to activate existing knowledge, thereby creating a mental framework to which new text, terms, ideas can be attached. So this mental framework is begun before reading even begins, strengthened as students interact with the text during the reading, and reflected upon after reading. So as students incorporate what they have just read into their core knowledge. Here are some strategies before reading. So first we have establish your purpose for reading. So before starting any reading, it is important to establish a purpose. If you want to find the main idea of a short story, or you want to know the character development of a character throughout a novel, and the purpose is what you, as the reader, hope to accomplish by the end of the reading. Second, speculate about the author's purpose for writing. So, an author's purpose may be to amuse the reader, persuade the reader, or to inform the reader. Third one is review what you already know and want to learn about the topic. The fourth one is preview the text to get an overview of its structure, looking at the headings, figures, tables, and glossary, and etc. And next one is predict the contents of the text and post questions about it. So if the authors have provided discussion questions, read them and write them on a note-taking sheet. Next is note any discussion questions that have been provided. So this usually you will see it at the end of the text. So this will help inspire the students to think critically and respond with well-thought answers. These questions will also help students to think bigger and connect classroom to real-world ideas and events. Next is the strategies during reading. So first, annotate and mark sections of the text to easily recall important or interesting ideas. So why annotate? Because by annotating a text, you can ensure that you really understand what is happening in a text after you have read it. Next is check your predictions and find answers to post questions. So predicting in reading rather is a good strategy because this encourages students to think ahead, and this will help to understand the story better by making connections to what they are reading. Next is create a vocabulary list of other unfamiliar words to define later. So for example, in my case, whenever I encounter unfamiliar words, I immediately search them on the internet so that I can understand and relate to them and continue with what I am reading. Next is connect the text to what you already know about the topic. So down to the last, the strategies after reading. So first we have summarize the text in your own words. So note what you have learned, your impressions, your reactions, and you can also make an outline and a concept map. And this will also help you to look for the main points and the key details in every paragraph. Next is talk to someone about the author's idea to check your comprehension. So like what I've said a while ago, discuss your ideas with your classmates, with your peers, because the stronger your interest, the greater your comprehension. Next is identify and reread difficult parts of the text. And lastly, define your words on your vocabulary. So to sum it all up, why is it important to understand the purpose of reading? Because having a purpose for reading helps us to be engaged and focus on what we are reading, which we can exercise our comprehension abilities, broaden our imagination, and stimulate our memory centers. Reading strategies are also essential. Why? Because this will help you to develop strategies that will work and can help you to have a further understanding of what you are trying to read. So here are my references from my report. So that is all for my report, and I hope you learned something from me today. Stay safe and God bless. Bye.